Welcome to the Heroic Rounds recap of A Wizard's Folly, Season 1, Episode 10. All right, welcome to the recap. Let's run it back. We had, you remember that, what's his bucket? Prior Dorian showed up with his deaf homies, and then you guys all rolled out. And you got into the woods, and the trees started bleeding, and there was thorns everywhere, and you saw a deer eating its own baby.
That was gross.
And there's
real
creatures
gross.
in the woods.
Creatures in the
The
woods.
best part for me was Brandon talking to the ravens.
Yeah, he did talk to the ravens.
That's fun.
I will give you credit, Chad. If there's ever been the immediate effects of a curse,
The consequences of your own
Alleged.
actions.
it was everything that voice said and more. It
I
told,
think DMs everywhere rejoiced. Just like, yeah, punish them.
yeah,
Those idiots.
yeah. We had all the opportunity in the world to turn away or stop what we were doing, but we said no. We said treasure, treasure, treasure.
So you
got
want to
out
give
of
back?
hand.
You're saying what I'm hearing is you want to give us all the magic items that
Yeah.
you took,
Sure.
and we'll take them back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did feel punitive.
Yeah, it did, huh?
Yeah, which was not a fun feeling, but
It's like, what the hell?
it's like, yeah, we did what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt linear, which was
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I felt like I was really quiet that episode. Like I didn't do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even like, I'm going to go ahead and drop the items that I took. It was like, from Mac's perspective, it was like, yeah, it was fun. And then I was like, oh, look what I've done to like the nature. And I'm supposed to be a druid. And I'm like, oh, okay, I shouldn't.
Heavy.
Oh, you
I
dropped your
shouldn't do
item.
this. Yeah,
He
so I
did.
dropped
He sent
everything.
me a message
Oh.
privately and said he dropped the items.
I go back.
Pick those up.
Um,
I love that for your character. John.
no,
That's
it
great.
was, yeah, it was like, oh, yucky. And then because I'm like feeling that, I was kind of like, why am I even here? Like serious lack of motivation for my character. Like,
yeah.
what's the point of this? Am I doing it for money? Like, why would I do anything for this church that I'm not a part of?
Existential.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, if I'm here for money, like I found it. So yeah, I'm like, I have to find motivation somewhere.
You I'm not trying to dig too deep, but I think you're bringing up a good question. Do you feel like when we started the campaign that you had motivation?
No.
So it's basically like saying like, what's Mac's true motivation for doing this?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I tried to posit a different starting place for Mac to Chad, where I said, what if I was the gardener of like the monastery? Because then it
Yeah.
would be like someone I knew died. I want to help investigate and figure it
Sure.
out.
Yeah.
But I think we had a really cool element to being in front of Chasen and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
felt out of place. Like, why am I here?
Sure.
And like we even called out, like, yeah, it feels really weird to you, Mac. Like the geography or the
Yeah.
geometrics of the building and everything.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm supposed to feel out of place. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of like, what am I doing here? Maybe I'll just hit the road.
Yeah.
Hit the road, Mac, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Sorry,
That was good, though. You guys
Yeah.
We sing you out. You just get up.
Will you write your
Mac.
character out on
We'll
paper
see
so
you
we can
later.
rip it up?
Yeah.
No.
Just kidding.
We'll just bring a hammer and just smash his iPad. No, I will agree. So it kind of felt linear to me too, in the sense that like when we started the session, like the prior was there and it was like we have to leave right now, and it didn't feel like there were so many like weird loose ends that we still had there. So to me, I wanted to stay, like, and also just from like a point, like we had been up more than 24 hours, I guess like 24 hours at that point. So it was like would we have just like walked back for another like 8 hours, or would we have like rested even in the woods, right? We had like a druid with us.
Not those woods.
Not those woods, yeah.
Well, I mean, before we knew
Trees
that, right?
bleeding.
Yeah. So it felt very like we have to go this way kind of, which is not normal for our sessions. And maybe it was
Yeah.
just like the culmination of how things were coming together. But like,
Sure.
I really wanted to go look at the other
Lantern.
yeah, because I think that was something we probably shouldn't have left. But like, it's just part of sometimes.
You still have one
how
of the
it is.
lanterns with you, yeah?
Right? Yeah, but
Do you have it? Who's
Yeah.
holding that?
It's strapped to Brandon's back.
Mhm.
Cool.
The tallest, strongest member of the party.
That's true.
of God's army.
You look
Say
like the
anything about it.
Rocketeer.
I do.
Extinguish the flame.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think with that same piece, like I really loved the imagery, and I hated and loved that we had like consequences of our actions, like allegedly our actions right away.
I
The
love it.
alleged actions.
Yeah,
of
the
group.
alleged actions
Until proven in
Mhm.
court.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did those things, but we don't know for certain.
Mhm.
But so that was like I really loved that piece. And I don't know if it was like the way that it almost felt like you wanted us to turn back. And I know that that's not something that you are like
Mm.
It's
typically
not a
wanted.
tactic Chad does.
Yeah, like
Mm.
you like
Did you feel, don't mean to interrupt, did you feel like Chad was trying to push us back?
No, it felt linear, like the party was going, and it was like, oh, okay,
Mm.
I guess we're.
So question,
Going
where
this
would
way.
you want to, did you want to stay? Is that what you
One-
guys were feeling?
Well, what
We
I'm
did.
saying is that by having this, oops, I don't know if I like that right there. By having the like, are you going for more of those
Peelers.
pushy? I can't say that. Peelers.
Good texture.
Yeah. But it was like the roadblock in front of us, like all these thorns
and
that we
stuff.
had to hack through. Like, was that like supposed to be like, well, turn back, like it's taking forever to get there? Like, oh, you could keep going if you need to, or should it take us in a different direction that was easier? And it just seemed kind of like we didn't, maybe it's just that we didn't investigate it in a way that was like, felt like
Investigate what?
the thorns, right? Like
Mm.
we didn't really go off the path.
Like
to
we knew
look
they
at
were
it.
coming from an animal, but
Yeah.
it's kind of
So like I don't know if it was like I didn't know how to play into that piece of it, or if it was like, because also like I wanted to get back right to the Brotherhood, because we have effectively like we found out what happened, and that is the checkbox, right? Like
Mhm.
of what we were sent here
The
to
mystery
do.
of Prior Thelian's death has been
Right.
identified, but not
That's all we were
completely
asked to do,
finished,
right?
Yeah.
Is to find out what it was, right? And then bring it to heal.
Mhm.
So yeah, like, but that piece, like, I wasn't sure where to go, or like maybe I just didn't know quite how to like handle that. But that's why to me it kind of felt like a linear,
Yeah.
like a session. But that's not to say that we can't have the consequences of our actions
No,
happen,
it's good. What do you
even
think,
in
Zach?
God's army.
I thought it was the holy thrust
Oh yeah, but
It
I
is the
can't-
holy thrust.
or the secret snakes, secret serpents,
Secret serpents.
the SS or something.
I really liked it because the way that Flavius approached it was, we've cursed this land, and now I want to go help the people that are going to be mostly affected by it. Does that make sense? So for me, it's getting back to the Brotherhood, making sure they were safe. And I tried to internalize the idea of like, we've been going nonstop. If we kept going, because we didn't really discover, as we started walking, that's when we noticed that it was all crazy.
You mean as we got farther away from the
Yes,
castle?
uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like for me, it was like definitely get back. Even before the curse was presented, I still wanted to get back and kind of regroup. I feel like the Castle Corbeau is something I want to keep returning to. But I think as we were traveling, I realized like, damn, we've now created this huge problem that we have to solve because we took the treasure. So
Yeah.
in Flavius's mind, it's like, it was the determination to make sure that the Brotherhood could stay safe, to rest, regroup, and figure out our next plan of action, because there's so much like at play at this point.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Because in my mind, this is the whole entire region. Is it the whole entire region? I don't know. But we know that it's affecting like the Brotherhood, because the thorns, or the creature that's creating the thorns, is like coming close to the edge. Like, what's really going to happen? So for me, it was a really I didn't have the similar feeling of like you guys being linear. The linear nature of it for Flavius and for me playing was definitely the hope to get back and do a reset.
Mm.
Like, we have this new problem in front of us. We've wrapped up a little bit. We've wrapped up like 90% of what happened with Thelian. We still have to kill the male manticore. And then all of a sudden, now we have these 3 lanterns that can raise the undead. We have this kingdom that was destroyed. We have we still have all the stuff back with, Lord Galen. We have Landon with us who's chained. So it feels like, to me, I'm wanting to get back, feel a little sense of like safety and figure out what's our next plan of action, right? I want to figure out where the holy thrust is going to be thrusting to next.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. So to that point,
yeah,
I didn't envision us going back to this castle anytime soon.
Really?
So yeah. And maybe that's where that disconnect is, because like this took us hours and hours to get, like 8 hours. So it's way out of the way.
I don't think it did take us 8 hours to get there in the beginning. 4 hours. It took us a while to get back because of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Felt like it.
fucking felt. So, but to that point, it's not in the direction of anything else. So like if we go back to like the keep, or if we go to the town, which I will make a list of names.
It's okay.
But if we go to Thornhaven Keep,
Thornfort.
damn it.
Thornfort, the region is Thornhaven.
Yeah.
And the town is the Wild Thornberries.
Donnie.
Solid. I'm so sorry, Chad. Were you hitting the mic with your? So those things aside, I did not envision us going back anytime soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, how often do we in like?
I have all the intention of the world. I don't mean to talk over to you, but I have all the intention of the world of turning that castle into our castle.
That sounds like that would be bad, because the Ravens don't like that.
Gothic castle.
So yeah, and maybe that's something we should have talked about beforehand, right? Because like it like that drove my actions of like, there's a good chance we'll never come back here again because of.
You think they were never going to come back here again?
What do you mean?
I think it just shows our character having different perspectives.
Yeah, but also we are not staying. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not staying in this country bum town. Like, I'm going back to this big city, the big city lights, baby. Like, got to spend that treasure. But like, so we
Santa Fe, are you there?
I'm not coming back.
Will you keep a candle burning?
But right, like, I mean, why would you has this like sweet honey on the side in the land of?
Oh, I'll tell you all the motivations.
Yeah.
I think the beautiful thing about the way that it's been set up is that any mysteries that are put in front of us are mysteries given by the Holy They. Because that's the whole point of the church. So to me, for Flavius, looking at this is a completely understandable. We have now uncovered this huge mystery about House Corbeau. We have this huge mystery about the Green Man. We have this huge mystery about this like church. We have this huge mystery about the hippogriffs. Like, in my mind, it gives us all day to continue acting in the name of the church to figure this all out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, in my mind, like, because that's it, like the documents and like, but that's for Flavius, you know what I mean? So the whole idea is like your ideas or your things kind of wrapped up, but then it's a question of like, this coming session is a good idea to figure out like what we want to do and what we want to figure out. Cause like what you're saying is we can just bounce. We can go back to Sanctum. Problem solved. A curse. Good luck with your curse.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the fundamental change, the fundamental difference, right? Is like that's your character's motivation, but I don't see why, like other than treasure, like I'm like I got.
It's motivation.
Yeah, it is motivation, but like we already got it, so like why do we need to go back to that place? I like from a meta perspective, I get like there's a lot here, and I want to stay and like explore and look into some things. And I'm not saying that we're like leaving tomorrow, but I'm just saying like, is the intent to have a castle here? Like that hasn't like no one has discussed that. So like, if that's your like long-term character's motivation, that hasn't been like communicated. And I'm not saying that like we had to like stop and be like, blah, 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 but like, it just makes sense why you were like, well, let's just leave it and come back later. And where I was more like, I'm not coming back here because like, why would we? Not that we aren't gonna, because I fully intend to like stay here and like, there's a lot of things to find out after we fuck around. And so, but yeah, like that's why I just didn't think about going back to the castle as like a returning point.
What about you, Chad?
This is good. This is good feedback. As I'm thinking about it, I was just checking how long that episode was. It was an hour and 45 minutes. But you guys only got from the keep to, it was like kind of a drag if we look at it that way. Like, I'm like, I can't believe it, because I was like, I bet that episode was really short is what I was thinking. And it was not. It was very long. So like, yeah. In terms of thinking through, I could see what you were saying about, am I trying to get you to turn back or something? I had no motivation to do that. I wasn't trying to turn you back or trying to prevent you from getting where you're going. I think that the feeling I was trying to convey was the oppression and that you're being hunted and circled, you know? I honestly, at the beginning of the episode, I had full intentions of there being a combat in the woods. And then it felt like that would suck, like it wouldn't go. And so I didn't, you know, it was like, I kind of like had this intention when I started, like there's going to be a combat on the trip back. And then I was like, if it didn't feel like it was going to fit, so I didn't do it, you know? So like, it's just interesting thinking through that. And then the other piece was like the linear nature of it. I think you feel you've kind of been tied up. You're in a tangled web of NPCs and you're being pushed around a lot by their motivations now, you know, like you had Gentle and you have prior Dorian and you have his people. And I think there was an element of feeling like we should get them home, you know, which I think is the right thing to do, the honorable thing to do. But it also does put you more in line with what they need rather than what you necessarily want to do, you know, because you guys might have been ready to like break for Briarberry or go somewhere else, you know? So that's interesting. But I do think that it's super enlightening to think about your character's motivations.
I love that.
I think that's a good call out. It'd be interesting to explore that some more. Because I think there's some ways we can work that and make it make sense, you know?
Yeah. And I don't want to put it all on you, Chad, of like, oh, you made it feel like we got punished for a curse. And now I'm like, what am I doing here? I think a lot of it actually also came from a big feeling of a rift between Brandon and I and Zach, because you were all about like curse, like you guys, you stole stuff. And I was like, well,
didn't feel united anymore.
And so then I was like, oh, well, if I'm not aligned with this guy now, why am I here?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
that makes
and
sense.
so I was feeling alienated.
Oh,
right?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to push that at all.
And personally, I found it very annoying.
Me?
Just like you
constantly being like, see, in your face, you guys did this while you're wearing the items from the treasury. I was like,
you're in it too. Interesting. Yeah.
Like, we did this together. Like
everybody put a bullet in the body.
This hooker is dead because of all of us.
That's right.
Not sex worker, please.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, this is really good. It's good feedback. I think that the other thing that is interesting to me too is like the feeling that like the curse is punitive or it's like punishment. Like there's more to come, like even in this next session, that like the curse is really tied in with the lore of this realm and like what's going on, and there's like really cool things behind it. I think that it unlocks and connects you to new actors in the realm in a very interesting way that I'm really excited about. I actually think that like when you're walking away from the keep, I'm feeling really excited that the curse has been activated because it helps to further propel everything. It accelerates everything that's happening in this area and makes it much more interesting from a story perspective. So I'm actually really pumped about it. And I can also understand where it feels like, damn, this feels stupid, you know?
No, it is what it is.
So
right?
it's like, I think it's gonna be really fun in my perspective. Not from a fun, like these players are gonna get blown around and jacked by it.
No,
but
but
more fun, like, oh, it actually elevates the stakes in the realm a lot and makes things move. Like things are moving now.
As players, we're catalysts, right?
Yeah.
So it totally is good. It's a good element and a necessary element of D&D or TTRPGs.
I thought that the only
you guys
cattle
are Tarviran, right?
Yeah, I thought the only cattle. Damn it, Jake isn't.
He's a
pony.
He is a pony.
Never
and we
mind.
need to protect him.
There's a joke in there, but
Protect
we'll
our
let it
animal
sit for a few
companions.
more episodes.
Save our animal companions.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
You guys like that shirt?
I
that
do
was
like
great.
it.
I think as we've been talking about this, where my concern is, which is not in this campaign, but is like more steeped in like a previous campaign, which was, I forget the name of the campaign, with the Geoden, the Valley of Plenty. Thank you. Was we had like weird energy at the beginning where it was like,
What do we do?
well, we had like a sense of urgency that we created as a party, and it was driven in a way that like we got nothing done. Like we didn't ever completely look through something. Like I don't want us to fall back into that trope of like, we have to do this because this is what Chad has said that we do. And that's not on you, that's not on you, that's not on you.
Sure.
And that's not on, like, it just generally, we need to, I think we need to check that and be like, yo, we need to, and that's where.
Well, I think we need to be communicating in game as characters about what our motivations are, of what we want to do.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I think we need to be more open in terms of thinking like, oh, I want to stay in the Thorn Fort, or I want to go to this town. I want to do this, to be able to pull back and be like, Flavius, like, there's still more to uncover. Right. And I think that'll be on me to make sure, or on everybody to be, what do you want to do? Like, if you feel like we're going through things too fast, if you're like, we're not investigating so much, because we probably could have stayed in the Thorn Fort and investigated Fulmer and Lord Galen for another 3 to 5 sessions and figured all that stuff out. We could have gone to so I think if we're more open and communicating what our characters' motivations are and building that relationship in game and questioning each other and making sure we're on the same page, but then again, being like, we're all having fun together. Like, I don't want to be the one pushing everything forward. Like, if people want to stay or do stuff, I totally want to be for that. I don't want to feel like it's one person's say in like what we do or what we say.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And in this case, I don't think that's where we're at. I think that's just my fear of like, I don't want to return to that, because I think some of those sessions, which aren't recorded, but like those
It's a
were
shame.
Yeah.
There were some
bangers,
There's
but
some bangers in there.
but generally, I think that campaign more than any other. And again, I'm bringing another campaign in but like it felt like we needed you to guide us. My God, I can't handle this thing. We needed you to guide us because we were like paralyzed by indecision. Yeah.
Analysis paralysis.
Is it analysis paralysis? Is it
It's
just that
decision
there's
fatigue.
too many shiny objects?
I wanted to go and see everything when we did the Valley of Plenty.
Yeah, because one of the things that I feel like is true and tends to be true even in the campaigns recently that I DM is just that there really is a lot of places and areas you could go and do and explore. And there's also the reality that all of those things are going to advance without you. Like,
Mhm.
there's no pause in the world. So like moving on from Galen and his bloody knuckles, like things are happening with Galen when you're not there. Like I don't pause that quest or that storyline, and there's consequences of leaving that hook. And that's good. I think that actually makes the world feel alive. But it also means that every choice, it does feel like there's a sacrifice being made,
An opportunity cost.
Yeah, there's a definite opportunity cost. I don't feel good about a session feeling linear. And so like thinking back on the session that you guys were in, it's like there definitely is choice. I want you to make sure, I want to make sure I don't in the end I don't have in my mind. I don't plan a campaign with like, oh, here's the ending moment. Here's what the big boss is going to be and how it's going to play out. Like that's not how I do it. And so I'm really interested to see what choices you guys make as you move into the, part 2 of this, Wizard's Folly, because you guys have wrapped up a huge piece of it. There's still some things, Hob Halfman and understanding what's going on with the other Manticore that is out there and those kinds of things. There's still some other stuff there. But like, there's also a lot of side storylines that don't necessarily matter. You don't have to get involved with Marcus Foxtail. You don't have to get pulled into all that stuff, but you could, Yeah. It's kind of up to you guys.
For sure.
I think you made a good point, Zach, about like in game trying to talk about our motivations.
Absolutely.
more.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if, because we don't have a chance, like, I mean, kind of the genesis of our recaps is because this is like, we'd be playing like on the bus the next day, right? Like talking about like, oh, remember it was so cool. You punched him so hard. He hit the ceiling.
Very much so.
And so, so it's fun to get that. But like a lot of that, honestly,
The short bus. We ride the short bus.
a lot of tears, like, right. Like we've all cried over D&D, which is silly to say, except for
Hell
John.
yeah.
Because
I've
he's
never
the
cried
strongest.
once in my life.
I'm crying right now.
Yeah. but it's good to like, if it's in a recap or like a conversation, it's a good reminder that we need to like, we have different motivations and we should like communicate effectively with each other because it's a fun game that we're playing together. We want to make sure that it continues to be fun and that we don't let resentment build up. So that's like, this is good to.
Yeah, I'm sorry
have
for
talk.
making you feel that way about the treasure and stuff, John.
That's fine.
Thanks for
I'm a
telling me.
people
And I
pleaser,
feel
so-
bad that your motivation got overlooked because I didn't work really hard on that either.
No worries. I'm a people
I think
pleaser.
I
so
think
that's
the other
probably
thing
my
I was
problem.
thinking about while I was hiking today in the snowstorm, I did snowshoeing today, which is
Nice.
awesome. I was thinking about the Green Pantheon.
Yeah.
I think there's some really cool things we got to flesh out there that'll help.
Because in my letter to my beloved wife, my betrothed, not betrothed yet, I mentioned how much you two complete me and how all
We
of my
should say that to
strengths
us.
do not need to be filled in by myself, but can be filled in by you guys.
You want us to fill you in?
Is this your Discord kitten?
So yeah,
Oh, that's fun. I didn't mean to make light of that. It was just, that's cool. Yeah, I think
Thanks.
I feel good. And also as a point, I didn't feel that it was necessarily you making it linear. I think somehow we made it
Well,
partially linear.
we gave
ourself.
up our needs or our desires for the needs of the NPCs.
Ah,
And I think that's totally fine. That's what we should have done.
Sure.
But it was like, yeah, we have to get them back.
I think for me,
Once we get rid of them, by killing them all in their sleep.
and taking their treasure.
Well, and I want to re-listen to the episode because going back, I'm anticipating that it really suffers from pacing issues. Is what my guess is. Like if I'm looking back, it could be really interesting.
I think my comments to Brandon was it felt like a slog.
Yeah, because I'm like, if it felt like if it was an hour and 45 minutes is what it looks like, an hour and 45 minutes, and you only went from point A to point B. I mean, yes, there was some intrigue in there, but that should have been like 30 minutes.
I mean,
you know
hey,
what I mean?
the best fantasy book of all time. They got a lot of going to point. from
They
point A
did
to
have
B.
point A to point B. That's true.
Twilight.
But anyway,
Twilight.
should we rate it?
Yeah, let's rate it. Let's
Twilight?
throw a number on Twilight.
9.
Hell yeah, dude! It's the modern
I-
Romeo and Juliet.
I said this earlier.
1
and
to 10, Brandon.
Thank you. Okay, it is a 10.
I hate that we have different ones.
Let's
One,
talk,
it's all
let's
these
talk about it
same.
later.
Okay, for now it's 1 to 10. Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2,
No,
3.
dude, what do you do? I'm not even done with my block number yet.
Oh,
Chad gave it a 3.
469.
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 6.
4.69.
4.69 and a 6.
Six.
I think for me,
I give 3. I have 3 best friends, and it's you 3.
I think for
Aw,
me,
I like
I liked it because Flavius is a paladin doing good, and making sure these people were safe and secure was a big part of doing that. And I liked it specifically, as much as it felt like a slog. I was excited because we completed the task we were sent to do.
Partially.
So in my way, like, yeah, in my thoughts, I think that's why I rated it so high, because I like that. I like the unknown in terms of what's going to happen next.
The unknown.
that's fun.
Good job, guys.